Hey fun fans, welcome back to another episode of Forecast. I'm your host Angel, bringing you the latest for FRC REEFSCAPE Week 2. Believe it or not, Week 1's already under the way, and we have a whole bunch of predictions here for Week 2. So sit back, relax, and let's splish splash as we deep dive into them.
This video on fun is brought to you by our viewers, supporters, members, and also in partnership with the following. AndyMark provides superior service with the reliability that teams expect. Check out their sport gearbox and ratchet sport options to their tried and true compliant wheels used by teams all over the world. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to andymark.com for your one-stop shop of high quality and affordable solutions. Build your alliance with so many other FIRST alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information.
All right, we're going to start off this first round of forecast in the New U.S. North region, where we have Steve, who's going to cover our featured event, the New England District Waterbury event, as well as the New England Greater Boston event, and as well as the Hudson Valley Regional. We'll then move over to FMA, where we have Jeff, who will be covering the Mount Olive event and the Seneca event as well.
Ladies, gentlemen, and robots, welcome to Week 2 in New England, starting off this week by looking at the Waterbury District event in Waterbury, Connecticut. In its 10th year running, it's the Battle of the Nutmeg State this week, with all but 3 teams at this event coming from the state of Connecticut, including some of the top teams in the district. Now look, it's only Week 2, and we haven't seen many of these teams play with their robot for this season. But I think it's that sort of unknown X factor that makes the early weeks so fun. So let's jump in. For my locked-in pick, I'm going with 4-time Waterbury District event winner and 2-time New England champions. It's Team 176 Aces High. Having personally played with these guys on the New England Championship field a few years ago, I can tell you that they are consummate professionals and have built a winning mentality up and down their roster. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to find out too many details about this year's creation. Given their impressive track record, I can't wait to see what they bring to dominate the field this year. Now, well, I think it's a pretty safe bet that 176 is going to be taking the top spot this weekend. Let's not forget that there are a lot of powerful teams here, including teams like 177 Bobcat Robotics, who are no stranger to competition, having taken home 2 district event wins last year in the district. And let's not forget the second longest Einstein streak in FRC history. The Bobcats are going to have their claws out as they crawl their way to the top of the competition. My next contender pick this year for this event is an Open Alliance team, and that's 7407 Wired Boars. Based out of a private boarding school, this team features students from all over the United States, and they've turned that unique mix of perspectives into a solid basis for winning. And having not only racked up a New England Championship Division win in 2023, but they've also punched their tickets to World Championship for the past 3 years straight. They've been busy on the Open Alliance, showing off a fast 3-piece auto sequence with their high-reaching elevator that I, for one, am excited to actually see on a field. Finally, my third contender pick for this event is a team on the younger side, which is rare considering how much of New England is filled with very old, very veteran teams. But despite their young age, they very quickly established themselves in the district, and that's Team 8085 Mojo. They have a solid elevator and a dual-purpose algae coral arm that looks like it has the potential to do some real damage on the field. They're another previous Waterbury event winner, and I think this year, the team in the blue and white windbreakers is going to be on the hunt for a matching blue banner for their wall. As for my dark horse at this event, that's going to go to one team that we have actually seen play this year, and that's Team 1073, the Force Team, who, despite their shaky Week 0 shakedown in New Hampshire 2 weeks ago, did manage to make it all the way to the finals. Now, with having an additional 2 weeks of practice and debugging to work out the kinks, I'm sure we're going to see them surging out of the midfield at this week's event. And if you don't believe me, ask them, because they probably have the scouting data to back it up, as they're the team behind the popular scouting system Viper Scout. Regardless of who wins this week in Connecticut, Connecticut always sets the pace for the level of competition in our district in New England, and keep an eye out because I'm sure we're going to see a lot of these teams back on the championship field in 6 weeks. Good luck to all the teams in Waterbury this week. Moving north to Boston, let's take a look at the Greater Boston District event in Revere, Mass., where 38 teams from around the district will be gathering to watch Team 125, the Neutrons, and 2 other teams take home the trophy. All jokes aside, 125 has either won or at least been the finalist every single time this event has ever been held, and I see absolutely no reason for their very well-deserved streak to end this year. But if someone can dethrone the Kings of Boston, it's probably going to be one of these 3 teams. 78 Airstrike from Rhode Island, 5813 Morpheus from New Hampshire, or 2713 Red Hawk Robotics from down the street in Melrose. Finally, my dark horse pick this week is going to be a team whose EPA has been on the rise for 4 years straight, and that's Team 2423, the Quarks. Good luck to all the teams in Revere this weekend. Finally, this week, I want to take a trip outside New England and look at the Hudson Valley Regional event in Suffern, New York. The top spot at this event seems to be locked down by powerhouse team 1796 Robotigers, who are looking to cement a dynasty at this event, having already taken home the top spot in 2023 and 2024. But they're going to face some stiff competition from stalwart competitors 69-4 Stu Pulse and 44-67 the Titanium Titans, along with another team looking to keep a recent upswing going. That's Team 353 PO Bots. If you're looking for a dark horse at this event, look at Team 2053 Southern Tier Robotics. This OA team is looking to climb their way out of the midfield with their robot Rattlesnake. They're betting big on Coral and autonomous scoring, taking advantage of full field localization with cameras. Good luck to everyone in New York this weekend.
All right, everybody, here we go. The forecast for the 2025 First Mid-Atlantic Mount Olive District event. First up, we're going to have our lock team, Team 103 out of Kintnersville, Pennsylvania, the Cybersonics. Next for our contenders. First contender is going to be 3142 representing Newton, New Jersey, and that's Team Aperture. Second contender is Team 8513, Sisters First out of Morristown, New Jersey. Our final contender is going to be Team 9015, Questionable Engineering, representing Jersey City, New Jersey. Our dark horse for the Mount Olive event is going to be Team 4361 Roxbotics out of Roxbury Township, New Jersey. Roxbotics has been consistently in the right place at the right time when it comes to qualification rounds over the last few seasons. This team typically tends to contribute a solid amount to their team's score when they're working towards a decent ranking. They haven't been able to put it together quite yet in elims, but this might just be their year. Best of luck to all the teams competing this weekend in Mount Olive. Here we go, the forecast for the 2025 First Mid-Atlantic Seneca District event. First up, our lock team for Seneca, and that's going to be Team 1640, Sabotage out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Now for our contenders. First contender is going to be Team 1807, Redbird Robotics, representing Allentown, New Jersey. Our next contender is going to be Team 4342, Demon Robotics, out of Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. And our final contender will be Team 5895, Petty Robotics, representing Heightstown, New Jersey. For our dark horse, we're going to go with Team 1712, Dogma, out of Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Dogma is gearing up an algae-only robot, and while this might be an unconventional approach, it does have the potential to produce a large amount of points, especially in early season play, and Dogma knows how to execute well into any elimination bracket. All right, well, that's going to be it. I'm super excited to see who comes out on top in the Pine Barrens this weekend in the Seneca First Mid-Atlantic District event.
Thanks, everyone. Now we're going to take it over to the U.S. Southeast, starting off with the 1st South Carolina District, where we have Justin covering our featured event, the Hartsville event. Then we're going to move over to CHS, where we have Griffin, who will be covering the Pasadena and Portsmouth District events. And then we take it on over to 1st North Carolina, where we have Evan, who will be covering the Catawba County District event, as well as the PCH District Dalton event.
Hello, and welcome to the newly formed 1st South Carolina District in our inaugural event, the Hartsville District event. Shout out to our friends from the Peachtree District for helping us get familiar with the district system and running events before we launched off to be our own. Most South Carolina teams lost about a week of build season this year to a freak snowstorm. We had a similar one in 2018, but the last time before that there was any snow on the ground in low country, I'm pretty sure it was the 80s. This has contributed to many teams being behind schedule this season. There's also a number of rookie and kit bots expected. With those two things combined, I expect a lot of dropped coral and partial robots at this first event. But who's going to be the most successful? I'm calling the lot team as 1102, making magic. So far, they've kept things pretty close to their chest, revealing only that they have a ground intake on an elevator. Contrary to what everyone on Delphi is saying, teams like Orbit and the Robo Wranglers are proving that a ground pickup is an elite tool for this game. As far as I've seen so far, they are the only team in the state to have one. If history is anything to go by, that intake is just going to be another powerful tool in the arsenal of a high-performing robot out of Aiken. Contender number 1 is going to be 343, the Metal in Motion. Perennial contenders, this year they are sporting a double coral intake mechanism that can place coral and remove algae at the same time. Double coral is placed just right, so that they use vision to align to the center of the reef, and regardless of which side they're scoring on, it's aligned properly. I heard it's even getting a redesign already. Not to mention this team was up and driving an entire robot a whole week before the rest of us, so they are likely well practiced as well. Also boasting a slick, deep climb, I'm sure they're going to be ranked high. My second contender will be Robots Garage, 4451. Perennial favorites, and looking solid again, they have a simple human player funnel intake and a claw to score at all 4 levels and remove algae. If you ask, they'll tell you they're behind schedule and not doing well so far, but when they've said that in the past, they'll still show up with an incredible robot, blow us all away, and win the event. It's difficult not to put them higher on this list, but lacking in climber and not being as practiced, I wouldn't expect them to be ranked number 1, but I do expect them to at least make a deep run in the playoffs, as they always do. For contender number 3, I'm going to throw out Team 342, the Birdie Magnetos. Looking pretty solid so far in testing. They have a West Coast Products competitive concept inspired coral algae mechanism that handles both well. They have a climber attached, not currently tested, and they're always low on automation but have strong drivers to carry. And there's just something about these pick and place games that they're always pretty good at. Watch for 342 to be a threat. And finally, my dark horse pick, 8575, the Due Westerners. Coming off a district championship win last season in Peachtree, they're seriously stepping up their design and programming this season. They're looking pretty capable and well practiced. They aren't going for everything possible in every match, but they can hit level 1 through 3 with the coral and remove and score algae. They have a shallow climber, and if they aren't picked early, they'll be an alliance captain posing a tough challenge in playoffs for sure. And that does it for me. I'm really excited for this season. If you're at the South Carolina events, come see me, come say hi. I'll likely be carrying my baby around, coaching the team, or trying to snag a few behind the bumpers interviews. Good luck, everyone.
Week 2 for Chesapeake is the Battles on the Bay, as we'll see both events be very much on brand of the season with beachside venues. Starting off in Pasadena, Maryland, I have on lock for the event 1727 Rex, who's been just showing off amazing robots the past few years that have been dominant in the Maryland events. However, keep an eye out for other contenders including Hopper Champions 9072 Tigerbots, Hall of Fame Team 1629 Garrett Coalition, and highly spirited 888 Robotiators, who have all had amazing seasons as of late that show no signs of slowing down. Coming into the dark horse spot is 1418 Ve Victus, who showed off a strong looking robot at our premiere night. Can't wait to see who takes home this event's Golden Crab. Swimming down the bay will put us at the Portsmouth event, where you can expect to see 422 MechTech Dragons be the lock for this event if they are able to avoid the first event jitters. Also in a good contender spot are hometown favorites 122 NASA Knights, reigning DCMP champs 836 RoboBees, and perennial favorites 401 Copperhead Robotics. Hopefully they too don't experience too much of the first event gremlins. Taking the dark horse spot here is 3136 Orca, who hope to break the streak of finalist awards from last year with a sleek and sturdy robot design. Good luck to all teams in Chesapeake competing this weekend, as I can't wait to see you guys make a big splash this weekend.
It is time to head down a bit further south to the FNC Catawba County event in Hickory, North Carolina. As the first North Carolina district event, this event is looking to be a good one. My lock for this event is Team 4795, the E-Spots, and trying to unseat them are Team 6004, F of X Robotics, Team 4561, the Terabytes, and Team 8727, Glitch 2.0. My dark horse for this event is Team 9150 Labyrinth Robotics. They have a very capable looking robot for this early week, and you'll see if they can use it well. I think they could be an ultimate alliance partner. Moving down further south to the Peach State, we have the PCH Dalton event. And you guessed it, Dalton, Georgia. This is a week 2 event, but almost no teams attending Dalton have competed earlier. My lock is none other than team 2974 Walton Robotics. Trying to beat them out are teams 6919 the Commodores, team 4112 Eaglebots, and team 3635 Flying Legion. My dark horse for this event is team 1648 G3 Robotics, a veteran team that did quite well at DCMP last year. I'm excited to see what they come up with this year, and I think they could end up being a great alliance partner.
Thanks, everyone. Moving on over to the 1st in Michigan District, we have James, who will be covering our featured event, the Escanaba event, as well as Kettering event number 2, the Mount Pleasant event, and the St. Joseph's event.
Thank you, Angel, and welcome back to FIM Fun Nation. Michigan is right back at it this week with 4 exciting district events filled with local heroes making their REEFSCAPE season debut. Let's head on north to our featured event of the week. It's the Escanaba district event. The Escanaba event began back in 2014 and has had some pretty consistent faces ever since, and that continues here in the 2025 season. Although we haven't seen much of what the Upper Peninsula has to offer this season, let's take a look into the lock, contenders, and dark horse for the Escanaba district event. It may come to no surprise that our lock is Team 4391 the Bravebots from Gladstone, Michigan. The Bravebots have an elite software team and have thrived the past few seasons in the modern first era. I fully expect them to come out hot in 2025 and take home the Escanaba district event for the 4th time in their history. The Bravebots are also ranked 4th in the Michigan EPA rankings, and I expect them to stay up in the local stratosphere this weekend. Our first contender to look at is Team 857, the Superior RoboWorks, hailing from Houghton, Michigan. 857 is a familiar face here, and is coming into the season with 3 consecutive Escanaba district wins. The Superior RoboWorks come prepared every single year, and I fully expect them to do the same this weekend. The combo of 4391 and 857 has worked like a charm, like in Crescendo, and we'll see if they can keep that streak alive in 2025. Moving on to our next contender, it's the home team. It's Team 3602, the Escanaba Robomos. The Robomos have put on some exciting robots in the post-COVID era. 3602 even captained the finalist alliance in last year's edition of Escanaba, and will look to break up the Superior Bravebots combo. The Escanaba team has had a solid tradition and is looking to add their 8th banner to their collection here in 2025. Our final contender is Team 2586, the Copperbots, traveling from Calumet, Michigan. The Copperbots have been a consistent face in UP Robotics and even won the original Escanaba competition back in 2014. I heard their captain that season was a pretty cool team too. The Copperbots have claimed 7 silver medals since they won MSC in 2018 and will look to break out of that drought with a gold this weekend at Escanaba. A fun dark horse pick for this event is Team 1322, the Great Leviathans, making the hike all the way from the Lower Peninsula in Genesee, Michigan. 1322 has historically been a strong team in pick-and-place games, their strongest seasons ever coming in 2018 and 2019. They'll look to capitalize on their 6-hour drive to the event and add their 2nd career event win, and I hope to see them turn their silver into gold after a finalist appearance at Escanaba last year. Best of luck to all the teams competing at Escanaba this weekend. We can't wait to see what UP magic you bring to the table. Our next event to check out is the Kettering University No. 2 District Event, headlined by the rising powerhouse. It's Team 5907, the CC Shambots. Our first team to contend at that lock position is Team 1506, the Metal Muscle, a team Fun already caught up with for Behind the Bumpers during the Week 0. In addition, Team 2337, the Engineers, and Team 1684, the Chimeras, will look to take home their home event. But Dark Horse Team 2832, the Livonia Warriors, will look to get back to their pre-COVID glory as a Michigan statesman. Best of luck to all 40 teams competing at Kettering this weekend. Moving on to the Mount Pleasant District event, the reigning state champions Team 5712 Hemlock's Grey Matter make their REEFSCAPE debut. Team 3707, the Brighton Technodogs, are seeking to get back to their World Championship ways, and Team 3536, the Electro Eagles, will look to pick up both the Impact and Event Win banner this weekend. Team 5216, the Evil Empire, is coming into 25 hot and will also contend for the title. Dark Horse Team 2405, the Techno Trojans, is coming off 3 straight Imagery Awards and is looking to replace that with a medal this year. Best of luck at the exciting Mount Pleasant District event. And then there was one. It's the St. Joseph District event, the annual debut of Michigan's own Team 2767 Strike Force. And I know everyone is excited to see the two-time World Championship team and what they'll unveil this season. Team 2054, the Tech Fox, will look to continue from their three-banner season last year, but the home team, 3620, the Average Joes, will look to reclaim their own event. Team 5675, the Wildcats, had a great 24 season and will look to add another banner this season. But our dark horse team, 6114, the Hamilton Cyberhawks, are looking to grab their second career event win at St. Joe. Best of luck to all teams competing this weekend at St. Joe and all around Michigan. And back to you, Angel.
Thanks, James. Moving on now, we're going to head over to Danielle, who's going to cover our featured event, the Israeli District number 3, as well as the Israeli District number 4, and William, who's going to be covering the Southern Cross Regional and the new Taipei City Regional.
After a very exciting Week 1 events here in Israel, we are heading into Week 2 with ISR 3 and 4 just around the corner. ISR 3 has consistently been an event to keep an eye on, and this year is no different. Kicking us off is our lock, current world champions Team 6090 Orbit. With an automated corals installation, a fabulous intake that can autonomously pick up corals from the ground, and a light arm that places them quickly and efficiently, it was no surprise when they almost filled the reef completely in numerous matches in last week's competition. They came this season ready to win it, and so far they've been doing it perfectly by claiming their first blue banner of the season in ISR 1. Wanting to give 6090 a run for their money is Team 3339 Bumblebee. They feature fast coral cycles, an attachment for algae, and a sturdy and precise build. This all earned them a spot as the first pick of the second-seeded alliance in ISR 2, where they as well almost filled the reef completely and went all the way to an action-filled 3-match final. They have been working on adding a climbing mechanism for ISR 3, and I am certain they will come up with something great. Speaking of Alliance 2, we simply can't ignore the Alliance captain, Team 5990 Trigon, a team that is making more and more appearances here and in recent years, and for good reasons. This year, Trigon has one of the fastest intakes we have yet to see, allowing them to get any coral on the field their heart desires. They glide smoothly and come in with a great game plan every single match. Our last contender is also not foreign to forecast. It is Team 1574 Miscar, that over the years have built some unique robots. With a crazy floor algae intake that shoots algae from the reef into the net, and for their coral scoring mechanism, they have a rack and pinion on top of a 3-stage elevator that score on all 4 levels of the reef. With this 3-piece L4 Coral Auto, they are great contenders for the first place. Team 4744 Ninjas is definitely the pick when it comes to a dark horse for ISR 3. Their drivers have great control over their bot, and they were one of the fastest bots of ISR 2, where they were captains of Alliance 5 and made it all the way to match 13. With a wide intake, which makes defense against them nearly impossible, and a lightweight elevator that cuts down precious time from their cycles, this is by far one of their best seasons in recent years. And all the excitement does not stop here, with ISR 4 following immediately after, and it should not be overlooked. Coming in strong as our log for this event is 2231 Onyxtronics, a fast deep climber with a unique arm that changes quickly between algae and coral installations and a 3-piece L4 Auto. Our first contenders is 2230 General Angels, with a quick arm that intakes and installs corals from different sides of their bot, and an extremely lightweight 3-stage elevator that help them cut cycle times. Another great contender is Thunderbolts 2630, with a double-jointed arm and an unusual end effector with another joint for easier intake. Both are made out of carbon fiber, which makes the robot's center of mass and their cycle times extremely low. The last contender is 5951, Makers Assemble. This year they have a single end effector for both algae and coral installations, and as a team and robot that are constantly improving, 5951 is going to be one of the higher ranked robots in ISR 4. For the dark horse, we have 82 23 Mariners. Focusing on L4 and driving automations, they have successfully climbed in 80% of their matches so far, and despite being a newer team, it is one to keep an eye on. Overall, we are heading into a week filled with great teams, matches, and fun, and after it, we will know which teams will advance to the Israeli District Championship.
For the Southern Cross Regional, the lock is 46-13, the Barker Redbacks. After a strong Einstein appearance last year, we expect them to come back light and fast. It might not be the same robot that we see at the first championship, but it'll be a strong contender. Can't wait to see the next iteration of their billet chassis design. The other contenders for this event are 65-10 Pinball Pride after a weaker 2024 season, 55-84 IC Robotics, and 47-74 the Drop Bears. And the dark horse is 65-08 Hastings Heroes, who have been known to have some cool and unique designs. Good luck to all teams that are competing at this competition. The new Taipei Regional. The lock is 42-53 Raid 0. They missed out last year on attending the first champs and will be hungry to improve. They're a strong contender in Canada and will take that momentum to New Taipei and to Hawaii in Week 4. The other contender is 86-13 the Barker Greybacks. This is the team to the Barker Redbacks. The other contenders are 76-32 Kang Robotics Maker, 80-20 Cyberpunk, who both saw success in 2024. The dark horse for this event is 85-03 Raid 1, the sister to our lock for this event. Good luck to all teams competing.
Thanks, everyone. Staying international, we head over to Ontario, where we have Emma, who will be covering our featured event, the Niagara College event, as well as the Ontario Centennial College event. She'll also be covering the Festival de Robotics regional, and we have James, who will be covering the Bosphorus, the Halleck, the Istanbul, and the Marmara regionals.
Up next, we have the Ontario District Niagara College event. This event will definitely be one to watch, with so many Ontario teams and 2 American ones as well. This event is being held for the first time this year, so there are no past champions looking to defend their title. With an estimated EPA of 66.8, far ahead of the rest of the competition, 2056 OP Robotics is an easy lock for this event. With a history of high-performing, reliable robots, I have no doubt that they're going to dominate the field. In OP fashion, however, we won't see their robot till load in. I can't wait to see what they've built in action. My first contender for this event is Team Dave, 3683, and their robot, Suzuki. They have built a precise coral scoring machine that can score algae as well. Team Dave has a history of building robust robots that do their job and do it well. With 9 blue banners under their belts, I have no doubt they have their eyes set on a 10th this weekend. My second contender is Team 2200, BCR Blackout. With a new name this year, 2200 is sure to be a strong contender. With their blacked out machine, 2200 can do it all, reaching all 4 levels of the reef effectively and placing algae in the barge and processor, as well as climbing. Team 2200 has 4 blue banners from the past 2 years, and I'm sure they have their eyes set on another one. The third contender for this event is 1114, Symbotics. With a strong history, their team is definitely one to watch for. Though we haven't seen their robot yet, Statbotics has an estimated EPA of 51.6. Though eagle-eyed fans may have spotted a brief preview of it during the provincial FTC championship. With a laundry list of achievements, Symbotics is definitely a team to watch. And last, but certainly not least, my dark horse for this event is 5870, League of Logic. With 2 district wins in the past 2 years, this team is on the rise, and I'm sure has no intention of slowing down. They have a history of building strong scoring machines, and I can't wait to see which aspect of the game they choose to master this year. I want to wish everyone a best of luck to all those competing and enjoy the first ever Niagara College event. Next up, we have the Centennial College event. Coming back from a quick trip down south for the Hinemi Port Regional, Team 610 Crescent Coyotes is my lock, debuting an extremely fast elevator that can reach all levels of the reef last week. I'm sure they will be one to watch back on home soil. My contenders for this event are Team 7558 Alt F4, 865 Warp 7, and 7712 ACCNU Moja, with Team 9062 Critical Circuits as a dark horse. For many teams, this will be their first event of the season. Good luck and have fun. Next up, we have the Festival de Robotique Regional in Quebec. This regional will see 37 teams compete, 2 of which will be making the trek up north from the United States. My lock for this event is Team 3015 Ranger Robotics from Spencerport, New York. With an estimated EPA of 43.2, this team is leading the competition on StatBotics right now. My contenders for this event are teams 3990 Tech for Kids, 3996 Riki Tech, and 5439 Huskies. And my dark horse is 9102 Cyborg Bulls. Best of luck to all teams attending this regional. And for our American friends joining us, I highly recommend trying a nice Canadian poutine while you're here.
Next up, we'll be taking a look at the events happening over in Türkiye. This year, the Turkish events are very unique, as there will be 2 events happening simultaneously at the same venue on March 4th through the 6th with the Istanbul and Bosphorus regionals, and then starting the following day with the Merrimack and Halak regionals. At the time of recording, practice matches will be starting in just a few hours, and since the events have such a large amount of crossover, we'll be taking a look at the 4 events and the teams competing there as a whole. Our first lock will be Team 9483, the Istanbul Wildcats. 9483 are coming off an Einstein appearance and will be competing at the Bosphorus and Marmara regionals. This team number is deceiving, as they previously competed as 7285 the Sneaky Snakes. That being said, they have come out of the gate swinging with an amazing video showcasing a very fast 4-coral auto with algae removal. Combining this with their dominance last year, 9483 is an easy pick. Our other lock this weekend will be 2905 the Sultans of Turkey. 2905 will be competing at the Istanbul and Halak regionals. 2905 is the oldest team competing across all 4 events. And while they don't have a stellar 2024, they have been steadily improving since the pandemic, and their trajectory puts them right in line to make a big splash in REEFSCAPE. For our contenders, we will start off with Open Alliance Team 6838 X-Shark, who will be competing at the Bosphorus and Halak regionals. Highlighting with a simple but effective robot, this Open Alliance team should seed high. Our next contender will be Team 6459 AG Robotic, who will compete at the Bosphorus and Marmara events. Last year, they either competed against or paired with 9483, resulting in a finalist and a win, but are most likely hoping for a double pairing and a double win this year. Next up will be Team 7576 FM Will, who is only competing at Istanbul. Last year, they ranked high at all their events and made a run to finals at Marmara. This year, they just might turn that silver into gold. Our penultimate contender will be Team 8214 Cyber Unicorns from China. Only competing at the Istanbul Regional this week, they are looking to continue their success from last year, where they seeded first and won the Halak Regional. Our final contender will be all the way from India, and that's Team 9609 Paradox. Last year, they were 8214's alliance partner at Istanbul, and this year they're looking to potentially pair up there again, and possibly go for 2 banners when they compete later on at Marmara. Finally, let's talk about some dark horses. Starting us off with Team 3646 Integra Bashir. After dying during the pandemic, this former Einstein team had a slow going of it in 2024, but the competition schedule this year hints at a possible return to form, but we will have to see how they do at Marmara. Next up in this 3-horse race is 8159 Golden Horn. They are competing at Bosphorus and Marmara, and while they did not have a stellar 2024, they gained a lot of experience competing in California and at Champs, and are looking to capitalize on it. Last but certainly not least is Team 8011 Kieran. Last year they won the Southern Cross Regional and are looking to continue their success at the Bosphorus and Halak regionals this year. That's it this week from Turkey. Looking forward to watching all of these teams and all 4 of these events over the next few days.
Thanks, everyone. Let's take it on over to the U.S. South, where we have Scott, who will be covering our featured event, the Central Missouri Regional, as well as Tassif, who will be covering the First in Texas Plano event and the First in Texas Belton event, as well as James, who will be covering our second featured event of this group, the Arkansas Regional.
This year marks the 5th ever Central Missouri Regional held at Smith Cotton High School in Sedalia, Missouri. 36 teams will come together to compete at this year's event that features the second highest mean EPA for a regional event based on last year's performance. A third of the teams attending this year's event made the trip to Houston for last year's World Championships. Let's dive in to some of those teams that will be vying to be crowned this year's Central Missouri Regional Champions. Starting off, we have my lock to win this event, and that would be none other than your host team and the current reigning World Champions, Team 4522 Team Scream from Sedalia, Missouri. If you haven't been following along with this team's Open Alliance thread, I cannot recommend it highly enough. Deciding to pivot away from a design concept they had been working on all year a few weeks ago, they made the decision to do a full redesign with a focus on efficiency while still being able to complete any and all game actions. Look for them to be flying around the field and fighting to repeat their accomplishments from last year. The first of several contenders that will be looking to take down the champs is Team 1756 Argos from Peoria, Illinois. They were the first pick of the second alliance on last year's Johnson division at last year's World Championship and finished the year with an overall record of 35-11-1. A robot that appears to be capable of manipulating both game pieces on a compact elevator with a deep climb mechanism, they would seem to have all the tools and the experience to push for a win. The next contender that will be in the mix fighting for the top seed is Team 1987 the Broncobots from Lee Summit, Missouri. After barely missing out on qualifying for last year's World Championship, this team will be eager to show off what they can do and try to lock up their spot early for this year's champs. This team has opted for a sideways mounted elevator that has an all-in-one game piece manipulator arm, able to quickly score and control game pieces at every level as well as score into the barge and the processor. Our final contender for this year's event is going to be Team 4646 Wildcard Robotics from Polk City, Iowa. Alliance mates with 1987 at last year's Central Missouri Regional, making it all the way to finals. Like 1987, they'll be looking to come in and improve on their performance from last year and take home that winner's banner. Also opting for a sideways elevator mechanism to control both coral and algae, 4646 seems to also have added a mechanism for manipulating algae while on the ground to be able to score into the processor. Showing off the ability to score at all levels at a deep climb, who knows what other cards this veteran team has up their sleeve to make sure they win this year's event. For a dark horse team, I have my eye on Team 3284, Camdenton Laser from Camdenton, Missouri. While we haven't seen much of what their complete full robot can do in action, you can pick out a few things that suggest they might just have what it takes to make an impact on this year's event. With a multi-stage elevator and a ground pickup for coral, that could provide them with a unique advantage in a game that seems to have loose coral all over the field. With a strong top end of teams and a deep midfield, the Central Missouri Regional could provide some excellent insight into how this year's metagame for REEFSCAPE will develop.
Heading over to the Plano District event, we have 31 teams competing, with the returning champion 148 coming in with already a blue banner behind their back. After winning Waco Week 1, they're here to get their second blue banner and take a bye until DCNP. With Robotics 4206, 9128 Itcan Robotics, and Team 3310 Blackhawk Robotics looking to come in and also get that blue banner. 3310 also had a great showing at Waco, becoming finalists at that event. Team 10014 coming in as a dark horse with an amazing showing this past off-season. I'm excited to see them play at their first official event of their career. Good luck to all 31 teams competing at the Plano District event. Next up, we have the Belton District event with 42 teams competing at this event, with the returning champion Team 3847 Spectrum to make their debut for the season. 8515 Photon, their sister team, already competed at Waco, so they're going to take that event as a learning opportunity to get ready for Belton. 5414 Paradox is coming in to make their debut as well, but also get the three-peat after winning 2023 and 2024 Belton event. 9418 Pastabots already made a great showing last year, and they're coming in to get their first blue banner of their career. 8592 Energy Heroes won the district championship last year, and they're coming in to win their first event of the season. My dark horse is Team 6357, the Spring Constants, who were finalists at the Mercury Division last year, and they're coming in to show that they are here to make a stand. Good luck to all 42 teams competing at the Belton District event.
In our last forecast before we head to the West Coast, we will take a look at the Arkansas Regional. Searcy High School will play host to 30 teams, but don't let this event's small size fool you. It is packed to the gills with perennial event winners from over 11 different states, ranging from the mountains of Colorado to the swamps of Florida. So it was a tight race to see who would make the list. But our lock is going to be Team 118, the Robonauts. 118 is the only team coming into the event having already played at an event, and that event was an undefeated run, and so that just adds to the aura. Their robot is clearly no slouch, partaking in all aspects of the game and excelling at them. The only chance for other teams is the continuation of the 118 second event curse, as since the pandemic, they have won their first event, lost the second, and come back again to win the third. So maybe these contenders can be the one to end 118's undefeated season. For our contenders, we'll start off with Team 2481, the Robotics. Although no media has yet been posted of this Illinois powerhouse, they are coming off a stellar 2024 season, and are a team who always performs well at their early events. Next up, we're going to be talking about Team 4499, the Highlanders. Making the trip all the way over from Colorado, this Premier Night favorite has a slick sideways elevator and a unique wrist. With their robot slider, they're looking to get back into 2023 form after a winless 2024. Our final contender will be the hometown heroes 3937 Breakaway. This robot appears to be coming in with a rotating wrist on an architecture strikingly similar to their captain at Worlds last year, 359. The wide intake should make them one of the best at intaking under defense, and with a sneakily hidden climber, they should be able to rank very high. Finally, our aptly named dark horse is Team 323 Lights Out. After coming back from hiatus last year, they had some growing pains, but showed at TRI and Ozark Mountain Brawl just how good they could be without that ring rust. Although another team without media for this year, with the crew behind this team, they should never be counted out. That's it for our non-West Coast events for this week. Looking forward to see how teams compete not only in Searcy, but across all events as we take a deeper dive into REEFSCAPE and Week 2.
In the Pacific Northwest District, the Sammamish District event in Bellevue, Washington is always an event to look forward to. The field is littered with high-level teams, with some reaching upwards of an EPA of 50. We also see our reigning champions back for another try, as Team 1294 Pack of Parts is returning after their 2024 win. With all that being said, let's hop right into our picks. For our lock, we have none other than the small bot jesters himself, Team 2910 Jack in the Block. Team 2910, year after year, puts up outstanding robots that shock the meta, and I expect this year to be no different. While we have not seen this team compete yet, I expect to be amazed by their performance this year. For our first contender, we have Team 9442 Miso Mechanics. This will be Team 9442's second event this year, previously competing at the Glacier Peak event during Week 1. That week, Miso Mechanics were able to solidly take the third place alliance spot and put up a strong overall performance, which landed them fourth in EPA across the district and in their home state. For our second contender, we will be visiting Team 3070 Pronto, who happened to be the finalists from last year's Sammamish event. While 3070 has not released their robot this year, looking at their previous year performances, we can expect them to perform quite well this year. For our final contender, let's go to Team 9023 Future Martians. The Martians, while being a newer team, made huge gains at the Pacific Northwest DCMP last year, ranking fourth and securing the World Championship slot. Finally, for our dark horse, it goes to Team 1983 Skunkworks Robotics. Skunkworks used to be a quite dominant team in the Pacific Northwest District, winning events and ranking high in EPA. In recent years, they've fallen a bit short of that, but looking at their performance, they are definitely due for a banner in the near future. Good luck to all teams competing at this event. This event will be an event to look forward to, especially if you're looking forward towards the Pacific Northwest DCMP in 4 weeks.
Up next, let's head over to Clackamas or Clackamas or whatever the blue banner says for it. This is a phenomenal event here and maybe gets a little bit less recognition than Sammamish going on, but this event has a lot of great solid teams for you to pay attention to. My lock is going to be 6443 Aimbot, P&W champs last year, and while we haven't seen anything from them, just their racing history really gives me a lot of confidence in what they have to bring. Contenders here, 4488, they have an absolutely crazy tiny machine that they debuted on their Instagram page, so make sure you go check that out. That has a lot of potential. 1540 that you see here on screen, the Flaming Chickens, got to see them on premiere night, have that Coral Ground intake that I'm a big fan of, and always designing quick robots. CPR has been really rising up with quick cycles. We haven't seen anything from them yet, but I'm still going to put them in my third contender spot. That's 3663. Now our dark horse here, 7034 to be determined, got some match play, and they did do great in quals, but they really impressed in playoffs, and they have a pretty quick L4 mechanism I think could really make a great spoiler in a dark horse team. Good luck to all teams competing at Clackamas this weekend. We'll have some fun correspondence there. Can't wait to see you.
And the next event is the Ventura County Regional, hosted in Port Hueneme. Now, last week was actually the Port Hueneme Regional, and the winner of that event was 4414 High Tide. Famously, they have been very successful in Ventura County, and I believe that they will be my lock for this event. The three contenders that I have chosen are 4481 Rembrandt from the Netherlands. 3863 Panther Robotics, and 1868 Space Cookies. The dark horse I've chosen is 971 Spartan, who are famous for their unique set of codes as well as their vision, and I know that this event requires a very special autonomous routine, which I believe they will showcase for their first event in 2025. Good luck to all the teams competing in the Ventura County Regional this weekend.
Thanks everyone for your forecasts. They were great. I hope you enjoyed these forecasts as much as we enjoyed making them for you. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and also comment down below about what you think are the locks, contenders, and dark horses of your event. For now, I'm Angel, and this is Forecast.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. AndyMark provides superior service with the reliability that teams expect. Check out their sport gearbox and ratchet sport options to their tried and true compliant wheels used by teams all over the world. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to andymark.com for your one-stop shop of high quality and affordable solutions. Osh Cut is a premier metal cutting service for first teams. No minimum order, options for same-day turnaround, guaranteed lead times, and instant online quotes. Osh Cut is offering first teams 50% off any future order up to $200 when you scan the QR code or go to funroboticsnetwork.com/OSHCUT. Just upload a 3D model or flat pattern to get started.